Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Phillip Siddiq Show. We are more than excited to have these gentlemen here talking about the new film Red Light. We have the director, Rodrigo Cortes, and actor extraordinaire, I call him, Cillian Murphy. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's good to
You
be
guys.
here.
Tell us about the film, because I loved, number one, I loved it, and fast forward to part of the end, the great reveal. You guys stay, watch the great reveal. But go ahead.
Be careful with the reveal. Don't talk too much about it. Actually, don't talk at all about it. I know. I guess the movie is actually divided into very different parts. So at the beginning, we shouldn't explain too much. But in at the beginning, we are pretty comfortable. We think that we have control of the situation, and every time we have a question, actually, we have someone to answer. But something happens in the middle of the film, and from that moment on, things become different.
Right.
We start to doubt. Things become much more unstable and much darker.
Right.
That's why, in a way, if we describe red lights, for instance, as discordant notes, things that shouldn't be there, from that moment on, the audience themselves become searchers of red lighters. That's part of the adventure, and that's part of the game. Everybody should be active, and they should never know what's going to happen next.
Right. Look to see what doesn't belong in this particular picture.
Exactly. That's what red lights are. It's like when you see a picture, and then you see certain details, and you say, okay, it doesn't match in the picture. Something's going wrong. It has to
Right.
do with that.
Now, Sigourney Weaver, Elizabeth Olsen, Robert De Niro.
Those are red lights on themselves. You're right.
And you caught Elizabeth before she, quote, became really, really famous. So what was it about her that you wanted to cast her in your film? And we'll get to Cillian in just a minute.
I didn't know anything about her because I didn't know her, and anything from her relatives or whatever. I simply saw auditions that I did to about 30 different actresses. She was wonderful. She brought so much light and truth to the character. When you see Lizzie Olsen, and that's what happened when I saw her for the very first time, no matter that she was saying my words, I never felt them as mine. It looked to me that she was thinking of them in that very moment, that it was an organic process. So she simply earned it.
Right. Now, Cillian, you have played so many roles, and you even worked some work on Broadway.
I did work off Broadway.
Off Broadway, yes. What was it about Red Lights that just made you say, yes, I have to do this particular film?
Well, for me, it always starts with the script. You know, it always has to start with the word on the page, and it's pretty, the traditional way. You get sent the script and you read it, and I suppose you read a number of scripts, and unfortunately, most scripts you can kind of predict where they're going to go.
Yes.
And with this piece, it was really refreshing and surprising, and I couldn't predict where the turns that it took right from the beginning. So it had me hooked then, and I had seen Rodrigo's movies. I had seen Buried, and I had seen The Contestant, his Spanish film that he made, and you could tell that this was a fully formed director, and that's very rare when you come across someone who has all those talents, like writing to that level, editing and directing, and obviously the cast, and I just really, really wanted to be involved.
Now, your relationship with the character that Sigourney Weaver plays.
Yes.
How does the relationship, it's, especially in the car scene, and she asks you that question, why are you here?
Yeah.
And you just like go off in another direction about that. But then it was like I was looking at, well, are they gonna talk or hug or something like that? So, but the chemistry with you guys it keeps you guessing, it keeps you thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a unique relationship that that Rodrigo has written. I mean, it's a relationship between an older woman and a younger man, and it's platonic. It's sort of like a surrogate mother-son mentor relationship, and he's very much in awe of her, and there's a great warmth between them, and he's her assistant and defers to her seniority and her greater knowledge of the world that they exist in. But it was important that it was warm, because it was written so warm on the page, and luckily myself and Sigourney really clicked when we met, and I mean, she's a hero of mine. She's a living legend.
Mine too.
You know, so to actually get to spend time with her and to work with her and to get to know her a little bit, and I think that hopefully, if you do connect with somebody, that it can transfer onto screen, and hopefully we manage that.
Right. Now, Rodrigo, when you were writing your script out, did you first write the words, or did you imagine the actress you wanted to play that doctor and say, okay, well, I can see her reading, just becoming this particular character?
Well, I usually don't think on specific actors when I write. I prefer to create characters with complex psychologies and with contradictions, and try to become them very believable and three-dimensional. And then, once I perfectly know them, I try to find the most accurate actor. In this case, there was an exception, but that I didn't plan, which happened with Sigourney. When I started to write the character of Matheson, that I wanted to be very strong, a very strong woman with a deep strength, but with a very sharp sense of humor, very ironed, and at the same time with a real heart, in a way hidden, with something broken inside. For some reason, in the second day of writing, the face of Sigourney started to float in front of me. I wanted this strength and intelligence and this beauty and this sexy quality, and it was like a natural selection that happened on itself. So I found myself writing for her, which is pretty risky because it doesn't guarantee you a yes, but it guarantees you a real problem if she says no, because you have a perfect dress for someone. If you don't have the someone, you just have the dress.
Right.
But thank God she said yes.
Yeah. I mean, it must have been, can't review the film, but anyway, I enjoyed it immensely. Now, your relationship with Elizabeth Olsen's character, we see her as one of the students in there because you're a physicist, but before we get to that, how do your character balance out being a physicist and, I guess, working with Sigourney, and then the other character, the other doctor, that wants you guys on his team, but you guys said he's a little clown, so to speak. How do you guys work around that?
Well, you can tell that they're sort of underfunded, the department that Matheson and Tom work in, that they are, sort of, their equipment is probably a bit dodgy, a bit old. But these are scientists, and it's all about investigation and finding the truth and trying to understand these phenomena. And I guess I've actually my second time playing a physicist, so I had some form in playing a physicist. But I think that these people like that, they are very sort of intellectually rigorous and very competitive, and so you got to apply that to the characterization, I suppose.
Yeah, paranormal experiences. Either of you had any? I remember when we used to play the Ouija board in the spooky house. In the hood, the houses are scarier. So we had a Ouija board and we did some crazy stuff. So have you guys had any crazy experiences that?
Not very crazy. I had a few because I had to do more than a year and a half of research. Yes. So I studied both sides actually, the side of the rationals and skeptics and the side of the believers and so-called psychics, which means that I had to read tons of books and reports to see a lot of footage and stills and hear sounds, everything that you can imagine, you name it, including interviews with these people from both sides, or assisting to channeling sessions or to certain readings or things like that, which were pretty bored in a way, pretty conventional. Nothing strange happened. Everything that I saw, at least what I saw, I just can talk about what I saw, was very explainable, and they used very conventional techniques. But again, I would describe myself as a skeptic, which means that I doubt. I'm open to things, and I try to understand things. I'm not interested in believing. I'm interested in understanding in a way.
And yourself, Kevin?
I guess I'd have to second that. I would be similar. I would be skeptical. I would be curious. I would be open, but yet to have anything proven or. And I guess I'm sort of, I don't read a horoscope. I'm not interested in going to see psychics and all that because I think, I'm invested in this world and this life right now, so I'm less interested in separate dimensions.
Right.
But that's just me.
Yeah, I'd say it does have a definite tone to it. It's not like a hokey tone, but it's just a tone that will leave you on the edge of your seat, or you're asking questions, especially towards the part we're not going to discuss, we're going to talk about, but you leave with a lot of questions, and that's what I definitely liked about the film. It's like, well, if he did this, so her, it's went on from there.
I'm actually glad to hear that because I think that movies should be also about answers, but also about questions. And many times when you give a definitive conclusion of things, you become banal. You close everything and you have a theory, you put it on the table and you don't know what to do with that. And in my opinion, the right thing to do with everything is to question it. To question it, not to deny it, not to approve it, not to reaffirm yourself, whatever, just to question. To see things like if you saw them for the very first time. So as an audience member, I love those movies that resist to end when they end. So you find yourself trying to finish them and you find yourself 2 days later still thinking on them.
Yes.
When that happens and they have their own life and they live inside you, that's wonderful for me as an audience member. So when I see that people react the same way with this film, I can't feel anything more than pleased.
Well, guys, all I can say is thank you so much.
Nice to talk to you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Great talk. Thanks for
My
everything.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Red Lights. We didn't get to Robert De Niro, but hey, there's a lot in this film you guys are definitely going to say thumbs up to.